Hello everyone, we're going to discuss about the material and economic self. Material self. A Harvard psychologist in the late 19th century, William James wrote in his book, The Principles of Physical in 1890 that understanding the self can be examined through its different components. He described these components as its constituents, the feelings and emotions they arouse, or self-feelings, the the actions to which they prompt are self-seeking and self-preservation. It is constituents because this topic for today is part of the understanding the self, wherein in this lesson we can find out what are our needs and wants in our life. Self-feeling. Dahil dito natin mapupukaw ang ating pagkatao o sarili when it comes in material self. Self-seeking o self-preservation. Dahil dito natin malalaman kung gaano natin papangalagaan ang ating sarili or self-seeking. Hindi naman sa makasarili kumbaga nakapokus lang tayo sa mga bagay or kung ano ang ating pangsariling mga desire sa buhay. The constituents of self are composed of the material self, the social self, the spiritual self, and the pure ego. The material self, according to James, primarily is about our bodies, clothes, immediate family, and home. We are deeply affected by these things because we have put much investment of ourselves to them. Meaning to say, those things are our needs. We need those things in our life for our daily lives. It is part of ourself that is associated with what we possess. Material self refers to the self things that a person buys which reflects to one's individual personality. Peoples are likely to purchase products that can relate to their personality. Let's proceed now in the material self diagram. As you can see in the presentation, there is a big circles that represents self. And inside of the self, there are four components, which is the body, clothes, immediate family, and home. The first component is body. Body. The innermost part of our material self is our body. Intentionally, we are investing in our body. We are directly attached to this commodity that we cannot live without. We strive hard to make sure that this body functions well and good. Any ailment or disorder directly affect us. We do have certain preferential attachment or intimate closeness to certain body parts because of its value to us. It is innermost part of material self because body need most things. We invest much to our body to make our body function well. It is how we care and value our body. There were people who get their certain body parts insured. Like for example, Mariah Carey. She was reported to have placed a huge amount for the insurance of her vocal cords and legs. Mariah Carey's voice and legs have been insured for a cost of 35 million each. Another example is Merv Hughes, a former Australian cricketer, is believed to have injured his moustache. And last example is Jenny Simons. When Kiss was its peak, Jenny Simons seems to recognize the value of his signature move, sticking out his ridiculously long tongue. To protect himself against the loss of this move, he made sure to get his tongue insured. Next to our body is the clothes we use. Clothes, influenced by the philosophy of dress by Hermann Lotze. James believed that clothing is an essential part of the material self. Lotze, in his book Microcosmos, stipulates that anytime we bring an object into the surface of our body, we invest that object into the consequence consciousness of our personal existence, taking in its contours to be our own and making it part of the self. Clothes are essential because clothes protect us from the heat of the sun. It also protects us from dust, rain, cold, insect bites. They also make us look smart and feel good. Clothes help us identify our personality, or we can identify them through their clothes. The fabric and the style of the clothes we wear bring sensations to the body to which directly affect our attitudes and behavior. Thus, clothes are placed in the second hierarchy of material self. Clothing is a form of self-expression. We choose and wear clothes that reflect ourselves. Clothes affects our behavior and our attitudes because of the symbolic meaning that we associate as a society ascribe to different types of attire. We consider some clothes to be powerful, some to be fun, and so on. We even evaluate people whom we have just met based on their clothes in the occasions.
Immediate family is defined group of relations, people who are very closely related to you, such as your parents, children, brothers, and sisters. Immediate family refers to a person's smallest family unit. Immediate family may be determined as either relatives by blood. These are immediate family members related by blood, such as siblings, brothers, sisters, etc., or determined as relatives by lineage. These are family members that share a bond through marriage, such as spouse, in-laws, children by adoption, and stepchildren. Our parents and siblings hold another great important part of ourselves. What they do or become affect us, because parents create the environment that the child is raised in, and heavily influence intelligence and personality by the way they interact with the child. When an immediate family member dies, part of ourself dies too, because the death of a family member brings everything to a halt. The death may occur suddenly or after a long-term illness. For example, you can never be fully prepared for death. Many questions may remain unanswered, and when their lives are in success, we feel their victories as if we are the one holding the trophy. Because if they fail, we are put in shame too. And celebrating others' success, you learn new things. When you stop feeling jealous and actually start celebrating other people's victories, you will start to recognize patterns of behavior that lead to success. And we place huge investment in our immediate family when we see them as the nearest replica of ourselves. Home. Home is where our heart is. It is the earliest nest of our selfhood. Our experience inside the home were recorded and marked on particular parts and things in our home because home always have the deepest affection and emotional pull. It is the place where you have a foundation of love, warmth, and happy memories. There was an old cliche about rooms: if only walls can speak. It means that if the walls could talk, it could discuss specifics of what had happened. If the walls could talk, you'd know more about really happened. And the home thus is an extension self because in it we can directly connect ourselves because we build ourselves at home. Having investment of self to things made us attached to those things. The more investment of self given to the particular thing, the more we identify ourselves to it. Investing in yourself is the only one guaranteed investment you can make. Investing in yourself shows the world, yourself included, your potential and caliber. By investing in yourself, you are telling the world that the value you possess is important enough to invest the time, energy, money, and space to grow and stand out in a crowd. We also tended to collect and possess properties. The collection in different degree of investment of self becomes part of the self. Our possessions are a major contributor to and reflection of our identities. As James 18:90 describes self, a man's self is the sum total of all what he can call his. Possessions then become a part or an extension of the self. It's stated that we are what we have and what we possess. We are what we have. It means that there are things in ourselves selves we cannot change no matter how hard we may try. And Russell Bulk 1988 posits that we regard our possessions as part of ourselves. We are what we have and what we possess. The identification of the self to things started in our infancy stage, when we make a distinction among self and environment and others who may desire our possessions. As we grow older, putting importance to material possession decreases. However, material possession gains higher value in our lifetime if we use material possession to find happiness. Associate these things with significant events, accomplishments, and people in our lives. There are even times when material possession of a person that is closely identified to the person gains acknowledgement with high regard even if the person already passed away. The possessions that we dearly hold tell something about who we are, our self concept, our past, and even our future. Uh, Possessions are important, but things are used to show who you are and to demonstrate your ability to generate them. They represent the work identity more than other sources of identity. Thank you, that's all.